The views expressed here on Now See Here are not necessarily those of the sponsors, advertisers, Jack Chris the host, or Roddy Merritt. Good morning, everybody. Jack Chris here with the Now See Here podcast. Of course, we're broadcasting on this Wednesday from CC's Coffee House. SettleMyCase.com is upstairs, and we've got a different show today, an interesting show. I hope I'm saying that. The hope is going to be interesting.
We'll make it interesting.
How can it not be? Mr. David Rushing and Mr. Joe Malanchak.
John Malanchak.
I've been calling him Joe all morning. Well, you called me Chris in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
It sounds like a first name, though.
Well, it does, and I get that all the time anyway. Joe T's Wine and Spirits, one of our new underwriters and sponsors here at the Now See Here podcast. And we're going to talk about wine. We're going to talk about the store itself, how it started, the business behind it. And gentlemen, welcome to Now See Here.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
David, kick us off because you are a co-owner or...
I'm the operating partner. I'm a partner with Joe T. and
Hence
have
the
been
name.
for about 11 years now. But we've been open for, we're in our 19th year. We opened in 2001, ironically enough, the weekend before 9/11.
Is that right?
So, that will always kind of be a special day. We were just getting started back then. And Joe T. and his first partner had a vision of the type of wine and spirit store that really the Jackson area didn't have.
Right.
And so that dream produced Joe T's, and the rest is history.
And you've been on Highway 51
Same
the whole
location
time in
since
Ridgeland.
the beginning. Started with just 1/3 of the building, expanded to 2/3, and now the entire building is all ours. Is Joe T's.
One thing I notice, I enjoy a bottle of scotch every now and then, a little vodka when it's hot. But going in your store, I think you have one of the best selections of scotch I've ever seen. All the way from the Chevis, the Dewars, to you've got a 1600 bottle of Macallan behind the counter, which I took a picture of.
Sure.
It blew my mind. But tell us about that. Do you and differentiate yourself from all the other wine and spirit stores? Is it the selection? Is it the service? Toot your own horn.
I think it's some of both of those.
Yeah.
Especially the service. That is almost what we were founded on. Our old slogan, was a bigger store with a better selection and the best service. And that part, that last part was really the most important that I think that has carried us through this 19 years. There's many, many places that people can buy wine and spirits. We've actually got 17 in the city of Ridgeland.
Yeah, all within like almost
within
walking distance,
ball
almost
throwing distance.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so we have to set ourselves apart. We try to do that with service. We certainly have a good selection. We're very customer oriented. We listen to the people that come in, always getting new things in, always looking for things, and we just strive on that service to try to get Mr. or Ms. Customer to drive past 3 or 4 other stores to come to Joe T's.
And come back,
right,
repeat.
and come back.
And John, you're not just here to look, handsome for the camera.
Well, I am.
Well, that too. And we all are, actually, all of us. But tell us your tie-in with Joe T's, what you do for the store, and how you got involved.
Well, I'm a part-time employee. I'm also a certified wine sommelier. Got that through the Court of Master Sommeliers. So it's an international guild. But
and what does the word mean, actually, for those who are not wine connoisseurs? What does that, to most people, what's the difference in you being a sommelier? I can't say it. Sommelier.
Okay.
And just any regular person who says, oh, I know about wine.
A sommelier, again, there is a certification process through various guilds. Again, mine was the Court of Master Sommeliers. You take the training, and basically a sommelier is a person who will advise you what type of wine, what type of cigar, what type of
pairings with
spirit,
food, and
especially the pairing of the food. In other
Yeah.
words, you come in and say, I want this type of food. And the sommelier will look at all the characteristics of that food, fat, so forth. and then recommend a wine with that food, or recommend several wines, an aperitif up front to get you really hungry. But it's a person that has that knowledge that feels comfortable telling you what to buy. And again, there are bottles of wine, just like the Scotch you were talking about, that go up to several $1,000s a bottle.
Do you have those in stock?
No, I would fear for that. I would drop them.
You can be afraid you would.
My first week at Joe T's, and I've been there about 10 years now. My first week, I had to move some bottles of wine that were from what they call the right bank of Bordeaux, region of Pomerol, and they were like $1,000 bottles, and I had to move them around, and I was like, Jesus, I want to drop these things.
Are those
My
insured?
first day, insured. We have a breakage fund, or
Do you? Okay.
account.
It's not you break it, you buy it, or
That's one of those. You break that one,
lick it off the floor.
I'll be licking it off the floor, but you would be gone actually.
Jack, basically, when it comes to a sommelier, they're always very humble, but they're the ones that can truly be considered wine experts. And, like I said, John's very humble, but the knowledge is there, and he's forgotten more, and he's taught me so much over the years. What I know, a lot of it has come from John, because I am not a sommelier, but the experience in the business for almost 20 years has taught me a few things about the business and about wine and about spirits.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot. What's your favorite wine? What do you? I know it depends on the meal or the cigar, but what do you really like? Let's say for value and for taste.
Okay, let me tell you. When I went up and ordered the coffee,
Yeah.
I told myself I want something dark and rich, full-bodied. So my favorite wine is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and but again, a lot of people are turned off by the tannin structure of that Cabernet. Tannin is the thing that dries your mouth out, but it also gives it the full body. I can drink that in August like eating Denny Moore beef stew in August in Mississippi, because I know what to expect in that Cabernet. I've learned to love all the wines. I was never a white wine drinker. Next thing you know, here I am drinking white wines. There's a wine for each place.
And and you can help people. Customers can come in.
Number one, I love talking to people.
Yes, he does.
I love talking to people. I want to know. I want their soul. I want to know who you are.
Well, now that's a little frightening, John.
No, not really. I'm not the,
From a wine perspective.
From a wine, okay.
I'm not. But I
Sounds like a
wanna know-
minister.
He wants their wine sold.
No, I want to know who you are. I want to know about your
Yeah.
family. How many kids do you have? I start that conversation all the time with people. And then I ask you if you put sugar in your coffee. I know what kind of wine you're looking for. Do you like lemon in your tea? I know what kind of wine you're looking for.
All right, let me hit you with this.
Sure.
All right, the wine that I have liked, enjoyed all my life, but it's hard to find, you may have it, is Stag Leap Merlot.
We do.
So what does that tell you about me? What does that tell you about my soul?
That tells me you like a good quality wine.
Hey.
Stag's Leap is a fantastic producer out of California.
And a little lighter on the tannins.
Do you
That's
have it?
exactly what I would
Merlot
say. Yes.
is not
Yes.
going to be full-bodied as a Cabernet Sauvignon. It's not far behind on that structure from 1 to 20,
I'm surprised you've got it in stock. I don't think anybody, Joe T's Wine and Spirits, you've got it. One final wine story, I got to tell you guys this before we get back to talking to the store. Years ago, I started dating this young woman. She was an executive VP at a bank, and I thought, well, she probably has good taste in her wine. And went to her house, and she said, would you like some wine? I said, sure, I'd love some. She's got Franzia in her refrigerator. Now that kind of told me that, well, either she likes what she likes and doesn't care, or maybe there's something here less to the eye than I thought.
It's value. I mean, it's value.
But
And
wine
she's
in a
not
box?
alone. Yeah.
No, that doesn't matter.
It actually has these advantages. Now, Jack, you'd be surprised the wine that are going into bags in a box, actually.
So I was being a snob, in other words.
You were being the snob. She just likes that wine, and that was fine.
She had what she had.
So
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
She wasn't the type of person who would sit there and put it in a glass and swirl it and look at it and sniff it. She was the kind of person that said, let's have a glass of wine and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
That's what she was saying.
Yeah.
And we did. I mean,
Yeah,
it was a
there you
great
go.
date. You know,
There
and
you
I
go.
actually
There you
liked
go.
it. You know,
There
I
you
said,
go.
as in
Yeah.
when in Rome, do as the Romans
Yeah.
do.
It was the Romans, absolutely.
Talking to David and John from Joe T's Wine and Spirits. Now, David, you and I first met when you were a banker.
It's in banking, a little while. That would have been back in the
Early 90s.
early to mid 90s.
Yeah, because I was in
exactly.
business publishing at the time.
Yeah.
And so how did you make this transition? That's quite a leap to go from banking to, you know, having ownership or running a
Yeah,
package store.
Jack, it was a process. I was actually in between jobs, more or less. And my next door neighbor at the time was the guy that was actually doing the build out of Joe T's. And talking one morning, he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Come with me. You're going to help me a little bit." So I followed him up to this place. Looked like they were making a store. You know, they're going to make a liquor store. And we were cleaning up. We were cleaning blinds. And next thing you know, it's 20 years later. That's literally how it happened.
So you obviously like your job.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Have you ever, I have to ask this question, running a wine and spirit store, and I like that better than package store or liquor
It's
store.
different. It's different.
You know,
It is.
Have you ever had to turn down a customer? Has someone just come in
yeah.
blotto and they're just stumbling, and you know damn well.
Absolutely. That's against the law.
Oh, it
It
is?
is against the law to sell to an inebriated person.
I knew it was in restaurants. I didn't know if it was the case
No, it's
in.
same. It's same for us. Probably even even closer. And sure, we've
You've had to do that.
Not much over all the years. Just like underage buying, we're very very mindful of that, and it doesn't really happen as much as you might think, or maybe as much as it did 20 or 30 years ago, because now the kids don't have to buy it. They've got friends or even parents
Who do it.
So we're certainly going to check IDs if we think you're under 30, or even 25 sometimes, and sometimes we get embarrassed, but we're going to be on the safe
Better
side.
safe
And
than
that's
sorry.
that's ABC regulations, and we want to be known, and we are. And you could, since we're in Ridgeland, Police is our organization, and we have a good reputation with them because they know that we are above board, and that's just not going to be part of Joe T's.
I had a friend who owned a wine and spirit store, and he told me the regulations were just incredible, onerous.
They
Do you
are.
agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Does it hold you down? I mean, does it?
No, I don't think so. No, I think they're pretty much set up to where it's common sense. I think mostly common sense. You don't want underage drinking. You don't want to sell to an inebriated person.
What's the strangest regulation you've got, or prohibitive? Can you think just off the top of your head? Is there one crazy thing you can't do? You're not allowed to do?
No, because changes are made. I guess, we have the things that we can sell, which is a very small, list of the things we can actually sell: wine, spirits, mixers. For a long time, we couldn't sell dry mixers. Therefore, we couldn't carry margarita salt. We can now.
No food, right? No food at all.
No, we can carry olive juice, but not olives. And that's just the way it is. But that allows us to concentrate on the important things. I don't want to be a Sam's or a Walmart.
Well, and John, before we get back to you and the wine aspect, I want to talk a little bit more about that. What do you gentlemen think about the grocery stores, the chains, the Krogers trying to get into your business and sell wine? And you got a problem with that? Or?
Oh yeah, we have a big problem with it.
Are they going to succeed? I mean,
I think eventually they will, Jack. They're trying every year. Some years it gets more intense. Last year, very little in the legislature about getting that through. It's going to mean giant changes to the whole procedure. It's not just, hey, we're going to throw wine in Kroger and everybody's, happy. It's not that simple. It's very complicated. It's going to be very expensive. And, I don't want, we could talk about just that subject for, a long time. I think there are better people to talk to about the whole deal than me, but it's not something we support because a lot of us are small family owned businesses.
Right.
And it will affect, the smaller stores.
As any box.
Sure, absolutely, as it's done, right.
John, you don't work in the store 6 days a week, so are you on call if somebody needs you?
I'm on call, yeah.
How does that work, If I come in and I say, hey, I need a wine, do you call John or?
Well, no, we're going to have somebody there that can help you, Jack, but we have access to John, so, he's always available to me. But, it's not like we have to pick up the phone and call John every time we get a wine question. We're equipped to handle most of the questions.
Ever give any classes?
Yes, I teach wine classes at Millsaps.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that's where I've seen your name. This is the Millsaps courses.
Enrichment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I haven't taught in about a year because of the gardening that I'm doing with the special needs kids. But I've had a lot of inquiries, a lot of conversations with our clientele coming into Joe T's and people that I meet, and they want to have another class. So we're going to have an intro class. Intro to wine. Try to understand wine. Understand the basics so that rather than come in and say, I want a Bordeaux. No, you need to know what tannins are. You need to know what acidity is, fruitiness, the characteristics of a wine, just basic characteristics. And then once you learn those, you learn the characteristics of food. And then now you can pair it. See what I'm saying? And that's just an introduction course. Once we get that basic foundation of knowledge, then our first layer of the pyramid will be wines from Germany, wines from Italy, wines from California, Oregon, Washington State.
So who makes the best wine? What country?
Let me tell you now. It was in 1976 at the wine tasting in Paris. I think the French wanted to embarrass us because it was our 200th birthday.
Yeah.
And they said, come on over with your best wines. Basically, we took over there our Cabernets and our Chardonnays. Chardonnays to go against the white Burgundies, and our Cabernets to go against the Bordeauxs. And they had the panel, the tasting panel, the judges were all French. And I thought,
doesn't sound fair.
That's not fair. But guess what? We took number one in red wines, number one in the white wines. So,
have we done that since?
Yeah, we did it in '86, 10 years later, and then we did it like in 2000. It was just, that put California on the map.
Yeah.
That put the wine makers in the United States, gave them the confidence we can compete with European wines.
So prior to '76, we really didn't have that status?
We did not have that status.
That's interesting. Okay.
There's a movie out called Bottle Shock, and it's about the '76 tasting and about California, the winemaking. Chateau Montelena took number one in Chardonnay. And I believe it was the Stag's Leap Wine Cellar, 73, Bordeaux, Cabernet Sauvignon that beat out. I'm talking about beating out the top Bordeauxs, what they call first gross and second gross. These are the top ones like Chateau Latour. Just beat them.
So we've done well with domestic wine production.
We know that Joe T's Wine and Spirits is the best wine and spirits store in Mississippi. We're aware of that.
We think so.
Nationally, do you look at stores like I remember Buster's in Memphis on Poplar? I guess it's still there, but are there any stores that you've ever studied or gone to and tried to model yourself after or not?
No, not me personally. The way our laws in Mississippi are structured, it's a whole different ball game, playground.
State to state,
basically.
Yeah.
And, you can't have a chain of liquor stores in Mississippi, because you can only have one license per individual or corporation. That's why there's one liquor store in a Sam's in Madison. That's the only one in the state, And Sam's does a lot of business. It's Sam's, As far as those chains in Texas and all around the country, we don't really try to model after that. We try to model after what is right here. Right here, I want in the Ridgeland, Jackson area. That's what I want to do, not what Texas is doing or Virginia, you know.
That makes
I've
sense.
looked at things, you know, with other stores and you get ideas, but to try to model, we're modeled after Joe T's.
And there are probably different tastes in different regions.
Oh, sure,
I
absolutely.
would assume, maybe even in wine, that maybe Mississippians
Well, yeah,
tend to drink.
You know, Texas is really big into wine. They have several great wine regions out there, so a lot of people in Texas will drink the wines made in Texas. You know, the grapes are the same. You know, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Syrah, the Chardonnay, but I think every state has at least a winery.
Every state.
Every state.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
Because we have Old South and Natchez. They're muscadine, very popular. You know, they do really well. My family years ago made muscadine wine in the Delta. It was called Rushing Wine. They had a little problem with an employee, and that kind of ended that. But you know,
Muscadine wine was the top-selling wine during Thomas Jefferson's stay as president.
And he drank a good bit of wine. Had it every day.
Thomas Jefferson had the opportunity as Secretary of State to go to Europe and trying to make deals with the French.
I'm an old Jefferson scholar,
right.
so yeah.
But he had an opportunity to drink some of the Bordeaux's, the Burgundies, and if you look at a book on Jefferson and his wine,
he took notes, didn't he?
he
Brought
took
it back
notes on everything. He brought them back
to Monticello.
He brought back cuttings, but it was too hot in this country to grow those grapes. So people in California, it's very hot in Napa Valley. It gets really hot. And that's why we have these plump, luscious Cabernet grapes that have a high sugar content, makes a high alcohol content wine. But when we brought them over here, but people have to understand that not only is the floor is hot, but it's surrounded by two ranges of mountains. And in the evening, that cool air comes off those mountains and it bathes those vineyards, and it stops that growing process. It slows her way back. So that's kind of cool.
That's fascinating.
pretty fascinating.
My background's in geology, so I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to have John on for several
You
topics.
can talk to him on several topics.
And David, you can talk about drones, because we tried to fly the drone out in the
working on
lightning.
it. We're working on
on it. This is the Now See Here podcast. I'm Jack Chris. It's David and John here with Joe T's Wine and Spirits. I'm holding up the card here. This is a zoom in. We've got 5 minutes left. Let me ask you gentlemen this. David, I guess it's more aimed at you. If a customer comes in and they ask for something that you don't have, would you ever send them to a competitor, or have you?
It could happen.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I mean,
I'm
wondering if it's cordial.
Here's how we would handle that. If I think I know somebody that may have that product, sure,
Yeah.
I'll send them to my competitor, or call and see if they have. But most of the time, we'll look into it to see if it's available. Can we get it? Back to what I was saying about being customer driven, And I have a great deal that actually I'd like to mention.
Please.
There's 6,000 items out at our warehouse. We're running about 2,200 in our store. That leaves a lot of available items. People like, we have great discounts. We do 15% discount on a mixed case of wine every day. If you want, your particular wine and I don't carry it, I can order it, have it at the front of the store waiting on you. You get 20% discount on that because it's just in and out. That's another 5% discount. I mean, we'll do whatever it takes to get and keep a customer. You tell me what you need, we'll try to make it happen. If I can't make it happen, I'll tell you, I can't make it happen.
And do most of your customers come in, say, at the first of the month with the grocery list and buy what they need for that month, or is it day to day?
No, it's
week to
dated
week?
when they need wine, they come in. It's not any certain time of the month or anything. You go through ups and downs, and everybody has their wine one day, then everybody needs it the next day.
Now,
So
you were telling me in the store the other day, the hot item, what are these, vodka popsicles?
Popsicles,
Tell us
yeah.
about that, and what
just
how about those wine popsicles? Now, are there any other hot items right now that people are kind of trending toward?
well, Crown Royal has a peach flavored, whiskey out that's been hard to get. We're looking for ours anytime now. That's been hot. Ciroc vodka is always coming out with a new flavor. The last one was the summer watermelon. I've got that. So, the trends are just, they change every day, some new hot product. The popsicles, those are popular, and you just stick them in the freezer and they freeze up and they're just like a popsicle, not intended for children.
No, of course not. And I guess there are certain times of the year, maybe, when sales go up and trend a little better.
Well, you figure summertime, it's hot. A lot of people drink beer. So, a little less red wine and, drinking and brown, spirits during the summertime. And then certainly with fall, back to school, as you go into the holidays, it really goes up. So, it does. It ebbs and flows.
What's your favorite part of the job? I'll ask either one of you, both of you. What do you enjoy most about what you do with Joe T's?
Success. Making Joe T's a successful business.
Financially and
yeah,
keeping people happy.
Yeah, just dealing with people. I've always liked dealing with people, and that makes customer service easy. So, that's, I would have to say just giving people a great place to shop, and the interaction. So,
John?
It's the people. As I said, I'm a people person. I love talking to people about wines, about the regions. And I tell a story with each wine region. And I swear the story sells the wine.
it's true.
I can believe
And I
that.
love doing that. And we have to differentiate ourselves at Joe T's from all the other stores, not just in
Right.
Ridgeland, Mississippi, but I hear people coming, well, in Louisiana we do. That's your shtick. I don't care. But what we do here.
How do you really feel, John?
Yeah.
How do I really feel? Let me
Yeah.
tell you. I'll tell you. I really feel that.
You can curse on podcast if
If
you want.
somebody wants to come in to the state of Mississippi and sell wine across the street from me, I don't care. I really don't care. He's against it. I'm for it. You're telling me I can't build a gas station across from you? We are small operated people. We are ma and pa things, right? But that's our country.
Free market.
They have that right.
Yeah,
it's a free
competition.
market. Competition. But we at Joe T's, I want that competition. I want to let people know.
And we got 16 other stores in
and when you
Ridgeland
come to-
providing the competition. So.
And when you come into Joe T's, I'm going to sell you some great stuff. That's what makes us different. I want to do this. And if you don't want to buy it, that's fine. I don't care. I'll undersell. I never oversell. I undersell.
Look, what you just said is not true because as far as Now See Here is concerned in our audience, there's only one fine
Joe
wine and
T's
spirit
Fine
store.
Wines and Spirits.
John Malanchak.
Malanchak.
I had to cheat and look at it, and I'm nearsighted.
all
David
right.
Rushing. Gentlemen, you're going to be on more often. I
Thank you.
am grateful to have you as a sponsor.
Thanks for having us, Jack.
You'll be seeing a lot of me. I won't be buying $1,600 bottles of scotch unless I hit the lottery.
Well, okay.
But maybe so. We'll see.
I've got some great ones in the $30 to $40 range, Jack.
Give your address, phone number, website. How can people find out more about Joe
All right.
T's?
Joe T's Fine Wines and Spirits, 286 Highway 51 North. It's between Lake Harbor and Ridgewood Road, between the Shell and the Goodyear. And our website is joetees.net. And you can email me at david@joetees.net if you need anything, or call us at 601-605-7602. We'll be glad to help. Thanks, Jack.
We could talk another 30 minutes,
We'll
and we
do it.
will in due time. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I'm Jack
Thank you.
Chris. This is Now See Here, the podcast, anchor.fm/Now See Here. Take care.